The capital city of the United States is being put under lockdown starting Wednesday, as fears over more violence grow ahead of the inauguration of Joe Biden on January 20. Apart from a massive police presence across Washington, the National Guard, a special wing of the U.S. military often activated during domestic emergencies, is deploying 10,000 of its troops. The Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) has warned of more armed protests in the capitals of all 50 states in the run-up to an event which has historically been a symbol of peaceful transition of power. The Secret Service, which is in charge of security of the inauguration event, issued a statement, saying they are prepared for all possible contingencies at every level. Doubts over the integrity of the election had been sown long before the attack and, in fact, much before the November election. President Donald Trump had hinted that he will not concede even if he loses, not least falsely claimed victory on the night of the election. But for months, the courts kept rejecting conspiracy theory lawsuits filed by Mr. Trump's team. However, that didn't stop extremist rhetoric from far-right groups which had been threatening for weeks to mount an attack. Therefore, the underestimation of this threat seems even more alarming. In the aftermath of the attack, there have been questions about the role of the security establishment as well. 2 Capitol Police officers have been suspended and several others are under investigation over their behavior during the attack. One allegedly took a selfie with one of the people who stormed in and the other is accused of directing the mob around. A retired Air Force officer has also been charged over the incident. "We are at a moment of inflection in the US," adds Mr. Jones. The FBI has long had a domestic terrorism unit which is something it is solely responsible for. What I think we'll see is that the tactics the FBI uses to counter foreign-based extremists, we will see the same tactics used domestically. I think domestic terrorism will be looked at very differently. Many are calling not just for the law enforcement to be held accountable but also the politicians who allegedly enabled Mr. Trump's behavior over the last few years. There is growing pressure on Republicans to hold the president to account, but several within the party still seem reluctant to do so. It's a critical moment for America and one that might well define the future of its democracy.